Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the DC Comics Fidgetal. It's been known in many a meme on the interwebs. Green Arrow, Longbow Green Arrow, brought to us by the, we'll say, not so fine folks over at McFarlane Toys and or DC Direct, because people are sick of the NFT BS. I already went over this in my review of this guy from yesterday. It's, of course, the Atom. So there's your premature size comparison and shameless plug. So check out that review if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. But speaking of fine folks, however, I'd like to give a shout out to my good buddy Evil Villain, who hooked me up with this fine figure here. I will leave a link in the description below to his Instagram. Head on over there, give him a follow. But as always, when you let him know I sent you, don't be a jerk face, or he'll give you the business. Now, I'll go after you too, but he'll go after you first, and you won't like the consequences, I assure you. That said, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase, get into the meat and taters of this review, and take a look-see at all Oliver Queen has to offer in terms of accessories. Starting off with a pair of open hands. Those look pretty good. Swap those on if you want. Also has a bow. A longbow, in fact. No string, which is kind of weird. But I guess if you're good with a pin drill, you can put a hole there, and weave a string through it. He also comes with this cluster of arrows that will go on his back, as well as this loose arrow, which is gummier than sin, which kind of sucks, but it does actually, I thought this was kind of neat, it does kind of rest with all the other arrows. Not the best, mind you, but it works. Turned to Mickey Mouse there for a second. Do you like squeaky toys? But at any rate, his one arrow here does kind of clip in to the rest of them. Now, he does have a quiver on the back, but these are pretty tricky to actually get in there. Show you the back here. It's a hard plastic quiver. Doesn't stick out very far. If you don't use the loose arrow, you can just put those in there. But with that arrow, it's pretty difficult. So I advise being a little careful with that there. You don't want to break your stuff. That said, he does come with a collectible trading card with a bio on the back. Nowhere does it mention my Longbow Black Canary, which weren't we supposed to get a frickin' Black Canary in this line? I mean, come on. She's bussin', man. She deserves some kind of recognition in this line. Come on, man. That said, as far as Green Arrow goes, however, he does come with the hockey puck display stand re-singled all McFarlane Toys releases. So taking a closer look at him, I'm not a fan of how they did the hood and the torso. The torso gets like no range. Pop the arms up for you here. You don't get like anything out of this except a waist twist. Which sucks, because even the Mattel ones at least had an ab crunch. I have the old, is it Brightest Day? Where he's wearing the kind of hood get up with the bare arms. I have that version of Green Arrow. He's got an ab crunch. Works pretty well. And then the head, it just turns in the hood, and the hood is like glued in place, or like sculpted to the rest of his outfit here, so it doesn't get the most range. Kind of like the Emperor Palpatine from Black Series we looked at a few weeks ago, no, a couple months ago almost now. He's very much like that. And as far as the rest of his articulation goes, his arms are on, disc hinges, so they can go up about that far. He can rotate all the way around, surprisingly. And he does have a little bit of play in that butterfly joint. He's got a bicep swivel. It's kind of gaudy, though, because it is a hard cut because of the clothing. Double elbow, which works okay. Then he's got the ball hinge wrist that will rotate, hinge, and swivel. Already went over the ball jointed waist, or the swivel waist. His hips can kick out, back down, forward and back. He does have a little bit of thigh cut. Double knee. Again, not too gappy. I want to say that this is the... oh, that knee's a little gappy. I want to say that this is a little bit of reuse from that CW Green Arrow, but don't quote me on that. I don't physically have that figure, but I'm getting a weird case of deja vu from this guy, especially with some of the dated choices they made with articulation here. His feet will hinge and rotate as well as pivot, and he's got toe joints. On this guy are pretty darn tootin'. Nice and tight on him. Why can't they all be like that? Oh, because it's McFarlane and they're not consistent. Okay. At least not anymore. They used to be. Popping his arm down. There is your lot for Green Arrow. Very, very solid figure. I like him a lot. That said, I guess we can give him his arrows. And adjust the mic we bopped there. Hopefully there wasn't too much noise for you. And then we'll clip his bow into his hand. He's got a nice tight grip on the bow at least, so I'll give him that. It's a little tricky to get in there at first, but once you get it in there, it literally feels like it clips into place. Like so. And it stays in there pretty well. Not too shabby. So there is Mr. Oliver Queen, ready to kick some arse, alongside his Longbow Black Canary, who we still don't have yet. But I digress. His Longbow, she's my Longbow. Come on, man. Once again, if you haven't seen Young Justice, you better. You want Black Canary as a therapist too, as I stumble and stutter over my words. That said, standing him there. Get him to stand there. So we can bring in our two regulars. Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibolith. Whose mace thingy fell off. Of course it did. Oh, this review's going to crap. I haven't sworn yet, so I guess that's good. Standing Brother Mandibolith up right there. There you go. As well as the Living Spawn, who, as usual, not quite towering, but big enough. Over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the lack thereof of any real good torso or head articulation, and the questionable choices made with the whole bow and arrow situation on this figure. I mean, no string on the bow and the arrow is gummier than sin. I don't know if that's the best way to do that. And of course there is always the DC Comics phygital aspect of this figure as well, but we don't do NFTs here at Overlord Productions. We don't have time for that BS. We have time for figures, and this is a decent figure of good old Oliver Queen from the DC Universe. So if you're looking to complete a Justice League lineup, or maybe even a Batman Incorporated lineup, then this figure is one you need to consider picking up, because I think he's really solid. Although again, I do believe he is somewhat heavy reuse of the CW version of Green Arrow. Don't quote me on that, but I'm getting a weird case of deja vu with this figure, and I can't quite pinpoint it. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.